Well, hello. Today we're going to talk about being taken for granted, because sometimes you may be wondering, well, why did that even happen in the first place? I get it, and I think we need to talk about it. You ready? Let's go. My name is 𝘃𝗵𝗶𝘀, and yes, I am your favorite empowerment coach, and I'm having a really fun time making black and white videos. So let's just say this might become a thing. If you like the black and white, put BW in the comments and let me know. I like it, but some of you know me personally, so you know I have a thing for black and white. Just saying. But as I said in the last video around being taken for granted, this is not a black and white thing at all. Lots of gray area. But some of you may be wondering, why did they even take you for granted in the first place? So my hope is to help you understand what may have happened so that you might be able to heal from whatever has occurred. All right, let's go. First things first, we have to realize that a lot of people have diminished capacity. What do I mean by diminished capacity? I mean that their heart space and their head space and even their soul have been cluttered up with a lot of things. They've been hurt, they've been wounded, they're filled with unforgiveness, they're filled with wounds that haven't been attended to, hurt, disappointment, all of that, sadness. And in that diminishes their capacity to give, okay? And in many cases, they're actually afraid to give, because giving is what created the situations that diminished their capacity in the first place. So in that, and again, I'm not trying to say that anyone has the right to take advantage of you. As I always say, no one has the right to treat you anyway, but well. But I want you to understand why this may have happened so that you can put things into proper perspective. All right, good deal. So there's capacity and then fear. But then there's also reciprocity, which I seem to talk about a lot. I feel like I say the word reciprocity a lot. How many times have you heard me say the word reciprocity? Put your guess in the bottom. Let's see what people say. People gonna say, like, you said reciprocity like 400 times. It hasn't been that many, but I feel like I say it a lot. And many times people don't understand the value of it. They don't really understand what it is. And so they ignore the need for it. They do. And the unfortunate is that humans will just take other humans at face value. That's just what they'll do. They'll just take them at face value. And so in doing that, oftentimes, the concept of reciprocity is just ignored. It really is ignored. Like they turn a blind eye to it. See, I have these little notes over here. And so even in that, not only is it ignored by the person that is taking you for granted, it's ignored by you. And because it's being ignored by you, it's being cast by the wayside. Like I said in the other video about being taken for granted, we need to communicate the need for mutually beneficial, balanced, and reciprocal connections, relationships, whatever you want to call them, right? We need to do that. But especially if it's a romantic relationship, I'll stop right there. You know, especially if you think they're a soulmate or a twin flame or anything like that, you think that you have to give a pass. You believe that the imbalances will be righted later. And I'm here to tell you they won't. They won't. Because what you do when you allow imbalance into your relationships of any kind, you set the precedent that that is okay. And by that same token, you also do the third thing. Why they took you for granted is because you gave them the benefit of the doubt, because you thought things would get better. You thought for certain no one would continue to do the things that they were doing. At some point, they would see your value. At some point, they would see your worth. Let me challenge you for a second and tell you that somebody can see your value and your worth and still not honor it. So that is why it becomes incumbent upon you to make a decision as to whether this is the person you want to be in relationship with or not. Do you want to be connected to them or not? Do you want to do business with them or not? Do you want to be in an agreement with them or not? See, oftentimes we give the benefit of the doubt because we haven't decided that we're worthy of our opinion of someone. So we say, oh, it can't be like that. Oh, they can't be like that. Oh, they can't be shady. Listen, can I tell you something? I have a utopian view of the world, or I used to. I would often tease my friends that I ride a leprechaun. I ride a unicorn to work backwards, and I throw Skittles down to the leprechauns below. What I had to learn was that sometimes those leprechauns were chasing me. Sometimes those leprechauns were only coming for the Skittles. They weren't coming to cheer me on and to ride along with me. That's not what was happening. But when we give people the benefit of the doubt, oftentimes it's just because we have not given ourselves the right to our opinion on this person. If you look at a duck, if you look at a creature, let's just say, and it has feathers and it has webbed feet and it's going quack, quack, you're going to call it a duck. You don't give it the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, well, maybe it's a cat. But how many times have you done that with individuals? And so this is why oftentimes, you, me, others have been taken for granted. Because that benefit of the doubt thing will let people have passes you would never give. But for some reason, you want to believe, and it's a good thing, right? You want to believe that people are good inherently. You don't want to believe that this person might be shady. You don't want to believe that this person might be taking advantage of you. But the truth is, if you think they are, they probably are. Now, if you have a problem with, rational thought, and sometimes if you add 2 and 2 together, you come out with, 4,868, run it by somebody you trust. Say, hey, this is going on. What do you think? Am I being taken for granted? Am I being exploited? Am I being misused? There's an expansive tone when it comes to the construct of being taken for granted. So you can ask someone that you trust and then move accordingly. I get it. Sometimes we jump, we've been through things and we made pendulum promises, which is probably another video I need to make. Really quickly, a pendulum promise are those promises that you make in the thick of situations that really hurt you. And you say, I will never do that again. And usually they're really big promises, like I'll never date another Virgo, or I'll never live with anybody else. As if you can see the trajectory of your life and you can make those types of decisions. You don't know what you're going to do, but you make pendulum promises out of a place of hurt to try to protect yourself from being in that situation again. I know I've made some pendulum promises. Here's the thing about pendulum promises. They're not good for us. Yes, you can make promises to yourself, and you should keep the promises to yourself, but not the pendulum promises. Usually pendulum promises are birthed out of pain. That was really interesting that I could get all 3 of those P's out, but I'm the person that couldn't say Tinder swindler correctly for the entire video. You should go watch it. It's hilarious. The Tinder swindler is not hilarious, but the video that I made, hilarious. So again, the benefit of the doubt oftentimes means that we don't trust our opinion of a situation, and that's fine. If you don't trust yourself to make that decision, then go to somebody that you trust and just give them the facts. Don't editorialize. Don't be, super emotional. If you can help it, just give them the facts and see what they say. And then you can act out of that space. All right. So again, why they took you for granted: capacity, lack of capacity, as well as maybe living in a fear-based existence, ignoring reciprocity. Maybe reciprocity is not a value in their life, and so they have a tendency to ignore it. You may also be ignoring the call for reciprocity, which is balance. And then that benefit of the doubt. That benefit of the doubt, giving people the benefit of the doubt lets them get away with a lot of things. Because we want to believe that humans inherently are good. And some humans are good, but they're still sketchy. And if you feel like you're being taken for granted, more than likely you might be. But if you don't trust yourself, run it by somebody you trust. That's the key thing. Okay? Because we've all been through things, we've all been hurt, and those hurts can also distort our perspective. So that's maybe why they took you for granted, but they don't have to keep taking you for granted. They don't get to keep taking you for granted. And that's all I have to say about that. So make sure that you drop a comment down below. I probably have some goodies in the pinned comments, but definitely there are oodles of goodies in the description box. I mean, freebies galore. But if you want to talk about this in a one-to-one, by all means, click the link below. It's down there too. Listen, the description box, you're missing out on a gold mine of resources, okay? So make sure that you do that. Make sure you like the video. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and tap that bell so you'll know when I have new content coming out just for you. But until then, my name is 𝘃𝗵𝗶𝘀. I'm a speaker, teacher, author, and coach, here to remind you to always be your own superhero and to thank you for loving and learning and understanding maybe why they took you for granted. Thank you for doing all of that with me. See you on the next video.